guys, welcome back. For those of you that are new here, my name is Kristen Lankford and I am a pre-K VPK teacher. If you've been watching along for my weekly vlogs, I have been doing them on Fridays, but I told you last week, it's just too much. So today is actually Wednesday and I'm gonna give you a sneak peek on a couple things while my kids are outside playing. And then hopefully today at the end of the day, I can give you a couple more things and just add on throughout the week like I used to do it. I want to show you what we are cooking this week for letter M because it is adorable. Here it is all set up. I did not make an example yet, but they are chocolate chip muffins and they're going to use chocolate icing with a popsicle stick to spread on top. And then these are the ears, so they'll go here and here. And then we have, this part is kind of like the nose that's sticking out, 2 eyes, and then I have over here this icing that we will go around and we will help them do on the little nose part. We'll do 2 dots and then like a little oval for the nose. And then this is our cookbook. I added this on my Teachers Pay Teacher store. You can have them full size, you can make them small size, whatever you want and you prefer. It's also able to be edited, so if you like the layout of it and you find your own clip art and your own words, you can change it. But if you just like to print it out and be done, every recipe in here has 3 ingredients, and then they trace the words, which is a downfall here. I made them smaller so they would fit in the book better because everybody has different size books. However, the writing is really small for them, so that's kind of unfortunate, but we're going with it because we're already done this year. Next year, we'll revamp that. Anyways, they're gonna trace their 3 ingredients. Sometimes there's 4, as you can see here. And then they're gonna draw a picture of what it looks like and if they liked it. All right. I'll be back later. The kids are, I don't know if you can hear them, but they're outside and they need to come in. Whew. Okay, I made it back on. After that little part of the video, the kids came back in and we took forever to do the cookbook and everything, but it's only week 2, so that's understandable. So just a little background on how we set it all up. When they come in, we sit on the rug and I show them the ingredients, we talk about the ingredients, I model for them how to make whatever it is we're making, and then they go to their seat and their recipe books are already set up. So then they do the first page, which was just tracing the words and coloring the ingredients. When they're finished with that, then we come and look at it, give them like a thumbs up, like you did a great job, and we stack them up on the side of the table with their crayon boxes, and then we pass out the materials. And while they have the materials, we go through each step. Okay, remember the first thing was get your icing and spread it on top. And honestly, only like 2 kids needed help with the spreading, so step in the right direction. Last week we had icing on our apple donuts, which is like a slice of apple, and the apples are wet, the icing wasn't sticking, it was kind of a mess. But we have peanut butter allergies, so we couldn't do ants on a log. Anyways, so then they get to make their snack, then they get to eat the snack, and then they make a huge mess of chocolate icing all over their face, and we wipe them all down, clean the tables, and then we pass the books back out, and we flip them over to the other side where on the whiteboard I model, like I use shapes to draw them up. And so I used a square for the bottom, an oval for the top, and then we drew like a circle for the monkey nose and 2 semicircles. So I was kind of like a direct draw, but it wasn't, it was with shapes. A direct draw with shapes to make it as easy as possible. And then they just color the thumbs up, thumbs in the middle, or thumbs down. And then we are done with our cooking activity. So our snack time is usually only like 15 minutes and we watch like Letter Jack Hartman songs during snack time. But on Wednesdays, our snack time takes a lot more time because it's more of an enrichment activity. And also, I don't know if I ever told you guys, we use that block of time for the speech pathologist to come into the classroom and work with all the kids with language, with articulation. She'll sit down and like talk with those kids one-on-one, and it kind of incorporates speech into what we're doing with everyone, not just the speech kids. Unfortunately, she is on leave right now, so she'll be back in a couple weeks, I think. The end of September, I'm pretty sure. So then we'll start doing that. But right now, we're on our own, but we did great. The kids loved it. Anyways, I'm gonna show you some of the other things. I'm gonna go ahead and go through my centers for the week. This week is community helpers. We are doing like all over the place, some construction things, some firefighter things, police officer things. Today, when we were reading our book, We had our school resource officer, police officer come into the class and introduce himself, and the kids were like amazed because it's a real community helper at our school, besides me being the teacher, a community helper. But nonetheless, let me show you our centers. So I'm gonna go over the first two independent ones. I feel like these are the hardest to figure out because you need something that the kids can do on their own, but will also keep their attention, because my small group usually is a task. I mean, it takes some time. So most of the other ones, we're trying to make sure that the timing of them all match up. That's the hardest part of small group, in my opinion. But the first reading independent small group this week, last week it was books, and this week we did the computer. We taught them, we have touch screens, so we taught them how to get on Starfall. Obviously, that keeps their attention. On Starfall, it has like the ABCs, so we just get them set up with letter M, because that's our letter of the week. They watch the little video, play it, and then they can play whatever else they want on Starfall. For that same small group for math, we have, I used these last year. They are just little papers for a square, circle, rectangle, and then also a triangle. And we put Velcro, I don't know if you can really see that, Velcro circles on it, and then we gave them a pencil pouch of real life examples. So, you know, let me get one, here we go. Scrabble, like they even know. But nonetheless, it's a Scrabble piece, and what shape is it? It's a square, and so then they take this Velcro and they put it on the square, and then they fill them all up. And so they work together on that. It depends on the level of the group, how quick or how slow this went. Some groups took the whole time, some groups finished really fast, and then we talked about, oh, let's take them off and play it again. You guys switch up your cards that you have. But it's just so hard to find things that are gonna work the right amount of time. So we just go with it. All right, the second independent one for reading time is a matching of community helpers. It has cards like this. So a community helper is a vet, so it has an example of what they wear and what they are. And then it has these next to it of things that would go with being a vet. So it already has the picture, so all they have to do is they have like little picture cards. There we go. This one's like an ambulance, so it's gonna go on like the doctor one, and they match it right to the picture. It is differentiated for like if you wanted to do it with your group, not so much like independently. It's blank. And so you would say, oh, does a ambulance go with a vet? And then they can go from there. But we did not use that because it was on their own, so it was more matching and an activity for them to do to still explore community helpers. Then for math and that independent group, Play-Doh always keeps their attention. Play-Doh, as long as you don't have any that are eating it. And we just did this shape board. It's just plain, simple shapes, laminated, and I taught them how to make snakes with the Play-Doh, where you like roll it. We learned how to make snakes and balls. So this one was snakes, and they just take their little snakes and they make the shape of the circle or the triangle or the square. Independent, done. Now on for the small groups that have a teacher, which by the way, I should also mention that if we had the extra para, we would only have one group that is independent. But since we don't have that extra para, we have two groups that are independent. So it depends on what kids are in those groups for the day, how it ends up. For Miss Sand's group, the letter book, I already showed you guys this last week. I did add the link to this, I think it was Miss Kindergarten. I don't remember, but the link is in my other video about apples. I'll link that up here if you wanna go there. And then if you look in the description, the link is there. So she's gonna do this every single week, letter of the week. For her math group, we had these. It is from Tara West. It is from Tara West. It's like her, I don't even remember. It's like a big bundle that I got when she first started it, and then she built on it. So this is Community Helpers. And it's actually for fine motor, just making those Play-Doh balls, but I changed it and we wrote the numbers in there, and then they had to roll a die, count how many was on it, and then they use those little cute erasers to cover up the number. And there's so many of them, I mean, all the community helper vehicles. Then for my reading group, I was going to do a community helper like matching activity, but I felt like they kind of already got that there. So I decided to do some small group with a reading book, and go over those concepts of print. So we went over the front cover, we went over the back cover, we talked about the spine, we found the title, we talked about how many words are in the sentence, we pointed to those words. Obviously they're not at that reading level yet. I mean, they're still learning their letters and their sounds, but they're still exploring through reading, which is another skill they need to have. I will say that 2 of my groups were able, it's very, very leveled text. I have red apples, I have red peppers. It's like the same old, same old. So I will say that after looking at the picture, they were quick to be able to read the sentence all on their own. And they were getting really good at the pointing. Now, obviously they don't know what the words say, but they were getting that practice of repetition. And it was very, very fun. Then at the end, if I had time left over, depending on which group it was, we talked about which food from here was our favorite. And some of the groups, if they had time, they were able to draw a picture of that food and then trace the word for the food. Then for my group for math, this was very ambitious, but I feel like throwing scissors out when it's whole group is very overwhelming for the kids and for me. So small group is definitely the way to go while we're learning how to use scissors. So we did a shape matching activity, but mostly focusing on cutting. I don't know if you can see, this is my favorite trick for cutting. It's kind of blurry. A highlighter. So what I did is, well, first we practiced how to cut, you know, the thumb up in the air, the fingers. A lot of my kids were putting their elbow out. So a trick that I read on Pinterest was to put a book under your elbow, and then they have to keep the book as they're cutting because it helps them to keep the scissors straight instead of being like, you know, down to the ground. So anyways, I gave them the scissors with the highlighted line. I said, okay, highlighted line. And I said, just cut down that line. And then when they were done cutting down that line, I then made another highlighted line from here across, and then from here across, and then all the way to the top. And then like, it's a lot of steps, but it really helps them to visualize where they're supposed to cut because there's so many dotted lines. Even the shapes are dotted. I mean, I guess so they could trace it, but it's very confusing when you're trying to cut, knowing if you're supposed to trace it or cut it or what. After we cut, which took pretty much the whole time, we then matched and I helped them put the glue and then they put their shape or what was left of the cut of the shape, if you know what I mean, next to it. And then this part was even harder. They had to attempt to draw it, but we talked about growth mindset and how it's not gonna be perfect, but you're never gonna get good at it unless you try. So trying to draw a hexagon as a 4-year-old, it's definitely not gonna be perfect, but try your very best. I'm gonna show you 2 other things that we have, and then I will record later because I have to go get the puppies from the vet because they had to get fixed, their brother and sister, you know. So I have to pick them up with the cone of shame after school today. So I don't have a lot of time, but I'm gonna show you 2 more things and then I will see you probably tomorrow. The first thing I wanted to show you is this week's art activity. It is with shapes because we're learning all about shapes. And it is a garbage truck, and this is independent, and I am shocked how good some of these kids did. Obviously, this bin, not as organized, but that's okay, has the red shapes already cut out, has these blue shapes already cut out, and the green rectangles, and then wheels, and all the tissue paper. So all the supplies are here for them, the glue sticks and everything, and then we have white paper, and they just put it all together themselves. Here's an example. Look how cute with their trash, like right on top, all crumbled up. And then here's another example, an excessive amount of glue, but it dries and it's beautiful. Other thing I wanted to show you is this. I also saw this on Pinterest. I've already had this and I love this idea, having a spot for, you know, miscellaneous crayons. When we get new crayons in their pencil boxes, I can put the extras in here. That way when a kid loses red, which is the #1 color that kids lose, I swear, then we can just come in here and find it. Or if we're doing a whole group activity where we don't want all the pencil boxes out, we can come over here and grab the entire thing of yellow and pass out all the yellow. But up here, when I taught 1st grade, I used these for letters and like letter cards for word building. However, I saw this cute idea where they hot glue the eraser to the front and then put the erasers in there. Obviously, we don't have that many to really fill this up, but they pop off really easy, and as we build our eraser collection, we can add more than one inside of there, maybe even add some dividers with paper so that they still stay divided even though there's a lot of them in there. But I thought it was so cool and so cute. So these are what they used for the small group activity. They just pulled one of these out, whatever one they were using, and then put it right back when they were done. Hi guys! All right, I did not have time to record yesterday on Thursday. I met with my teacher that is next door, and we went over some assessment things that we have coming up, so I just didn't have time. But it is Friday, and it's when the kids are outside. I'm starting to take small little breaks with my parrot outside. Thank goodness that she is able to do that, and then we kind of trade off a little bit too to give her a little bit of a break. So I am trying to record it now so that I can leave after school. I'm getting better, I'm getting better. It has been a great day already. The kids are in a great mood. I feel like we're finally getting into the groove of things. There's less and less like behaviors that are, you know, out there. And out there, like, you know, they're getting used to being in school and what the expectations are, and I am loving it. So anyways, I'm gonna show you our social emotional, our poem that we did this week, the books that we read, our sensory bin, our Play-Doh, and we also started a new fine motor journal today. So lots to show you. Let's go see. So for our social emotional, remember we're using second steps. This week was about self-talk, which was kind of a hard concept for them to understand if you're referring to self-talk and talking to yourself inside of your head, not where everybody else can hear it. But we started with just talking out loud to ourselves, and then eventually we'll get to the inside voice. But basically, you know, we did the puppet script, and then it was time to clean up. The teacher told them to clean up, and one of the puppets was not cleaning up. They were still playing. And the other puppet started singing a song to themselves to stay focused and remind themselves that they're supposed to be cleaning up. Then day 2, it showed the 2 children here, and they were cleaning up, also with a little song to remind them to clean up. Day 3 was a practice activity, which was super fun. Also went back to those attentoscopes, and I set an action for them to do. The first example was hopping, I think. Yeah, hop on one foot. So I would say hop on one foot, and then the kids were supposed to say hop on one foot and then stand up and do it by themselves. So we did that example. We did a couple other one-step examples, and they did so good with it. So of course I bumped it up to a 2-step direction, which is on a lot of my kids' IEPs. So it was also an informal assessment while having fun. And we practiced the skill of self-talk. So I would say, hop on one foot and then spin around. And they had to say, hop on one foot and then spin around. And then they did both steps. It was really effective, especially for those kids who are working on 2-step directions, to be able to say the direction, and it helped their brain remember the direction. We are also looking for the kids during playtime who are using this skill. Like when I say clean up, I ring the bell and I say clean up, and they're saying clean up, and then they start cleaning up. So we praise them for that. Then activity 2 was a pattern activity. Also another informal assessment. Even though this is for social emotional, I was able to tie it in to our academic. I said we're gonna play a pattern game, and we made a AB pattern with like little cubes, and then I taught them how to say red, blue, red, blue, red, blue. And so we did it together, and then I gave them each cubes, and they made their pattern, and I was reminding them, oh, self-talk, make sure you're saying the colors as you're doing it. So very, very good. And then today was a read aloud, which was the little engine that could. I did want to show you guys these. These are for centers. So this is one of the little girls in our class. I'm covering her face. I did these last year too. They're so cute. They're just big binder clips with Velcro, and we just get them posing, and then we cut out their little body, and we, I don't know if you can see, hot glue it or wrap this around just to keep it on there. And then our centers are here, and I have numbers of how many can fit. They put their little person on the number. Then they take it off when they're ready to go to the next center. This is our poem this week. So cute. I'm a firefighter. We did some motions to it. Obviously the part when I see a fire, hear me shout. And then today we have a cricket cutout of a firefighter. I could show you in a little bit. Okay, moving over to here, I kind of set up some of the stuff so that I could show it all to you. This one is our Play-Doh. We just had our construction toys here with the colored Play-Doh, and then we had gravel and rocks and little sticks for building. Our sensory bin, we have cotton balls with little community helpers and vehicles. And then in here, we have our beans with people. For the fine motor, we haven't added the front cover, but I did print it. We are going to put their name on here, and they're gonna use stickers to like trace their name. That's a fine motor activity. And then we worked on doing diagonal lines today. So we modeled the darker ones. That was me hand over hand or showing them. And then the other ones are obviously the student trying on their own to do those diagonals. And then they got to pick a different color, and we worked on humps for the lowercase m. Our letter last week obviously was capital A, which has diagonal lines. Capital M also has diagonal lines, and then the lowercase m has humps. So I just kind of picked out some activities from that. This is an idea from Pocket of Preschool. I bought the kit, and she gives you lots of ideas of what to do for which letter and things like that. So I just put paper in these folders for the kids to just practice those, and they had fun because we used markers. That's always a hit. All right, today is Friday, and I always show you guys like the poster of Show and Share, but here are some of the items. Obviously, we have them all stacked up here. We haven't gotten to share yet, so the bags are all full. Just gonna give you a sneak peek of what some kids brought. Little muffins, a monster, and here we have marshmallows. Looks like, oh, money, how cute. Let's see over here. Oh, a monkey is inside of there. This one has a magazine. So it's very, very creative activity because I feel like the families come up with better ideas than me. U.S. mail truck, a mail truck, how cute. Anyway, so what we do is the kids unpack them and they put them over here, and then one at a time they go to the rug and they take things out of their bag to share with the class while we make a poster. These are the bins that I use to organize for the week. Also a random rat that we had to take away from a kid from putting it in their mouth. I'll have to put that away. But each day I just put the supplies that we need and then we pull out. So today is Friday, and what we have in here paper-wise is the poem that they're gonna put in their poetry notebook, the firefighter one, and then little cutout people, not people, cutouts of firefighters with a hose. I mean, it's so cute. And then we're also gonna hand cut out some fire, red, orange, yellow. So still working on that. Clearly it's not ready yet. I did want to show you a paper that we use. I made this. I have not posted it on my Teachers Pay Teachers. It is my daily report. And so it just has the kid's name on it and the date. And then breakfast, snack, and lunch, almost, some. Let me pull this out. None. If they napped, if they had any accidents, anything that they need, I can write in. This is mostly for the kids who need like diapers or wipes, but sometimes also like if we ask for a supply that they don't have, or we'll put, I need snacks. Okay, and then we have some of the activities that we do for play centers so that we just circle it, so much easier, but we did put a blank so that we can write in, you know, computers if we pull those out, or fidget toys if we pull those out. We have some feeling words. I did switch some of these around just to help with describing some of our children. You know, peaceful is one. We have a kid that's just like chill all day, no emotions. So peaceful was the word for them. And then those chatty children, we put chatty at first, and then we were like, maybe we should put social instead. Okay, then we have what they did a good job at. These are our class agreements, you know, being kind, listening ears, watching eyes, safe hands, and then I also added sharing and participating because those are definitely target behaviors. So I put that on both sides so that we can circle what they did good at, and then also if they did not do good at some of those, we circle it. My next step is up here. I'm going to add the words all good on each of them. I tried to do it and then I forgot on some of them because I put 3 to a page and we just cut them out and staple them in at the end of the day. But if they don't have any issues, I write all good. So now I decided to put it on there so I can just circle it. Less work. And then notes at the bottom if I need to elaborate on anything. Okay, so that is it. It is letter M week, which I'm pretty sure, this is the problem when I do multiple days. I don't remember what I showed you guys, what I haven't showed you. I have to like rewatch it maybe. Anyways, it is letter M. It is also Community Helpers Week. For books, I was gonna show you, but we just did books on the program called Myon, and not all districts have it, so it's kind of not that helpful for you guys. So we did a community helper book in general about all the community helpers. We did a book called Whose Hat Is This, which had community helpers and then other people with special hats that are not a community helper. So we were able to sort, is this person someone who helps us stay safe or learn? And then is this someone who doesn't do that? You know, they have a different job. And then the other book we did was, community helpers at our school. And then we went on a tour to meet those community helpers. So we met our resource officer, we met our principal, we met our school nurse, we met our guidance counselor, we met our custodians, our lunchroom staff, which they already kind of know because we go there all the time. But nonetheless, just like a tour to like kind of make those connections for them and build that vocabulary. And then we also, every week, read these Scholastic letter books. I think I might have shown you. If not, let me grab them. I leave them down here so that I can grab them, and they're just in order. There's also like a teaching guide, but it's pretty self-explanatory. So they just have Alpha Tales. And we do this one on Monday when we make our letter hat. I don't have a copy of this week's letter hat because they made it on Monday. But right here, we're preparing for next week for letter S, and these are the letter hats. I do think I might have put a link to these one day, but I think they're a freebie, so you should put it on Pinterest and find them. They are so cute and so fun. All right, so that's pretty much it for this week. I am going to, in the same chaos coordinator outfit, try to do our class tour real quick. Everything is not perfect, but that's life. We build to our classroom as we go because it doesn't need to be perfect. It needs to be functional. And when things don't work with new kids that you have, you switch it. That's the way life works, and we're teaching our kids that we make changes when things don't work. Anyways, I'm gonna make that video right after this one, but if you liked this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Click that subscribe button, that notification bell, and I will see you soon. Bye.